5 seconds. Start. The Cold War between the two superpowers was responsible for approximately one-third of all wars in the post-Second World War period. Most of these wars were fought in the Third World. Just as the European colonial powers feared violence in the colonies, some colonial people feared after independence that they might be attacked by their former colonial rulers in Europe. They had to prepare, therefore, to defend themselves against an imperial war. The security challenges facing the newly independent countries of Asia and Africa were different from the challenges in Europe in two ways. For one thing, the new countries faced the prospect of military conflict with neighboring countries. For another, they had to worry about internal military conflict. These countries faced threats not only from outside their borders, mostly from neighbors, but also from within. Many newly independent countries came to fear their neighbors even more than they feared the US or Soviet Union or the former colonial powers. They quarreled over borders and territories or control of people and populations or all of these simultaneously. Internally, the new states worried about threats from separatist movement which wanted to form independent countries. Sometimes the external and internal threats merged. A neighbor might help or instigate an internal separatist movement leading to tensions between the two neighboring countries. Internal war now make up more than 95% of all armed conflict fought anywhere in the world. Between 1946 and 1991, there was a 12-fold rise in the number of civil wars, the greatest jump in 200 years. So far, the new states' external war with neighbors and in traditional security, there is a recognition that cooperation in limiting violence is possible. These limits relate both and the means of war. It is now an almost universally accepted view that countries should only go to war for the right reasons, primarily self-defense or to protect other people from genocide. War must also be limited in terms of the means that are used. Armies must avoid killing or hurting non-combatant as well as unarmed and surrendering combatants. They should not be excessively violent. Force must in any case be used after all the alternatives have failed. Traditional views of security do not rule out other forms of cooperation as well. The most important of these are disarmament, arms control, and confidence building. Disarmament requires all states to give up certain kinds of weapons. For example, the 1972 Biological Weapons Convention (BWC) and the 1992 Chemical Weapon Convention (CWC) banned the production and possession of these weapons. More than 155 states acceded to the BWC and 181 states acceded to the CWC. Both conventions included all the great powers, but the superpowers, the US and Soviet Union, did not want to give up her type of weapons of mass destruction, namely nuclear weapons, so they pursued arms control. Arms control regulates the acquisitions or development of weapons. The Anti-Ballistic Missile (ABM) Treaty in 1972 tried to stop the United States and Soviet Union from using ballistic missiles as a defensive shield to launch a nuclear attack. While it did allow both countries to deploy a very limited number of defensive systems, it stopped them from large-scale production of those systems. The US and Soviet Union signed a number of other arms control treaties, including the Strategic Arms Limitations Treaty 2 or SALT II and the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty (START). The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty (NPT) of 1968 was an arms control treaty in the sense that it regulated the acquisition of nuclear weapons. Those countries that had tested and manufactured nuclear weapons before 1967 were allowed to keep their weapons, and those that had not done so were to give up the right to acquire them. The NPT did not abolish nuclear weapons, rather it limited the number of countries that could have them. Traditional security also accepts confidence building as a means of avoiding violence. Confidence building is a process in which countries share ideas and information with their rivals. They tell each other about their military intentions and, up to a point, their military plans. This is a way of demonstrating that they are not planning a surprise attack. They also tell each other about the kind of forces they possess, and they may share information on where those forces are deployed. In short, confidence building is a process designed to ensure that rivals do not go to war through misunderstanding or misperception. Overall, traditional conceptions of security are principally concerned with the use or threat of use of military force. In traditional security, force is both the principal threat of security and the principal means of achieving security. Full stop.